You're sitting on the couch. It's Saturday night. You've just finished scrolling through the same video of a cat falling into an inflatable pool for the 40th time, and you're wondering when exactly your life took this turn. Your phone vibrates. It's yet another message from someone wanting just 5 minutes of your time. 5 minutes that then turn into 2 hours of gratuitous emotional outbursts because you, dear friend, have that face that screams, "Tell me about your traumas, that's what I'm here for." You didn't ask for it. You didn't apply for the role of humanity's unpaid therapist, yet here you are, once again, wondering how the hell you ended up in this situation again. For the 5th time, with the 5th different person. And Carl Jung, that old Swiss psychologist with a passion for symbols and the collective unconscious, had it all figured out. He understood that people like you, those who feel too much, who perceive too much, who give too much, go through 4 precise stages when they encounter someone who sucks energy like an industrial vacuum cleaner sucks dust from a Persian carpet. 4 stages that start from total innocence and end with something dangerously similar to a superpower. But it's the 2nd stage that breaks your bones, the one that reduces you to psychological mush. And if you overcome it, you become practically indestructible. But let's take it one step at a time. If you too have that "tell me about your traumas" look on your face, write "I attract those in need of healing" in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. Phase 1. The light trap. You were born this way, with that thing inside you, that exaggerated sensitivity that makes you cry when you see cookie commercials and makes you feel physically ill when you see someone eating alone in the cafeteria. As a child, you were the one who consoled others when they cried, the one who couldn't stand seeing anyone excluded from the group, the one who felt physical pain when they witnessed an injustice, even a small one. Jung called this excess libido. No, not that libido. Libido in the sense of vital energy. You have too much of it, too much for one person alone, and so it spills out like a fountain that can't hold its water. People sense you. They don't understand why, but they feel safe around you. Before they even know you, before you even open your mouth. It's as if you're sending out an invisible signal that says, "You can rest easy here. No one judges you here." And that's beautiful, until the wrong person comes along. Because you see, your light doesn't just attract butterflies and Bambi's fawns. It also attracts vampires, those Jung called power-hungry personalities, those who operate according to a precise logic. Where there's love, I take. Where there's generosity, I exploit. Where there's light, I turn it off to feel less empty. And you, with that "help me sort out your life" look of yours, become the perfect target. The vampire studies you. You don't realize it, but he's cataloging you. Observe how you react to sob stories, how you behave when someone pretends to be vulnerable, how much you're willing to give before you start asking questions. He's not falling in love with you. He's taking inventory of your weaknesses. He's mapping out the territory like a general before an invasion, learning which buttons to push to make you feel special, which strings to pull to make you feel needed, which wounds to touch to make you feel guilty. And you don't recognize this as predation because you feel like you're finally important, that you're the person who truly understands, the only one who sees beyond the mask. Jung said, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. But at this stage, you're not becoming yourself. You're becoming what they need. Phase 2. The extraction of the soul. If Phase 1 is the trap, Phase 2 is the meat grinder. Jung observed that certain people don't just want your love. They want to consume all your psychic energy. They want to suck you in like a black hole sucks in matter. And here begins the real psychological warfare. Jung wrote, "The meeting of 2 personalities is like the contact of 2 chemical substances. If there is a reaction, both are transformed. But with vampires, only you transform, and not for the better. You become smaller. They become bigger, like a balloon filling with your air. What I call the bombardment of projections begins, a continuous assault in which the vampire projects all their shame, their anger, their inadequacy onto you. Suddenly, you're the one who's too sensitive, too needy, too dramatic, too everything. They rewrite history to make you the problem in every conflict. That time you cried, you were hysterical. That time you asked for explanations, you were paranoid. That time you asked for a need, you were selfish. And the most subtle part is this: your natural gift, that of sensing other people's emotions, becomes a weapon against you. When they get angry, you feel responsible for their anger. When they distance themselves, you feel guilty for their distance. When they betray you, you wonder what you did to make them do it. Jung understood this as a process of shadow projection. The vampire can't face their own darkness, so they throw it at you. And because you're empathetic, you absorb it as if it were your own. You begin to believe their version of reality, the one where you're the broken one who needs fixing. The psychological torture of this stage is that you are punished for the qualities that make you a decent person. Your compassion is labeled as weakness. Your boundaries are called selfishness.
Your needs are dismissed as whims. You're crucified for being authentic. And then you start walking on eggshells, constantly monitoring their moods, transforming you into 1,000 different versions of yourself to avoid their wrath. Your nervous system remains active 24/7, trying to predict and prevent the next emotional outburst. Jung observed that prolonged exposure to this type of psychological abuse creates disassociation, fragmentation of the soul. Parts of you go into hibernation to survive. You lose touch with your needs, with your desires, with your truth. You become a ghost, wandering through your own life. Stage 3, the dark night of the soul. Jung wrote, "It is said that no tree can grow to heaven unless its roots reach into hell." Stage 3 is your journey into hell. The complete collapse of everything you thought you knew about love, about yourself, about reality itself. Your seemingly limitless, generous nature hits rock bottom. Your seemingly infinite capacity for understanding reaches its limit. Your ability to make excuses for their behavior finally collapses under the weight of the truth. Jung called this moment the dark night of the soul, a necessary psychological death that precedes rebirth. But in the moment, it feels like you are literally dying. Your body begins to fail. Anxiety, depression, physical illness, a total inability to function. The vampire often escalates the abuse during this stage because they sense you are waking up. They launch what I call the final harvest campaign, a mix of false reconciliations and heightened cruelty designed to extract every last drop of your empathic energy before you escape. But here's what Jung understood that most people don't. This breakdown isn't a pathology. It's a psychological necessity. It's your psyche's way of forcing you to confront the truth you've been avoiding. Jung wrote, "The most terrifying thing is to accept yourself completely." In stage 3, you're forced to accept that you participated in your own destruction. You begin to question everything. The relationship, yes, but especially yourself. How did this happen? Why did I stay so long? What's wrong with me? These are the fundamental questions that emerge during what Jung called individuation, the painful but necessary process that leads to psychological wholeness. This stage often involves confronting your shadow, not their shadow, but your own. You must face the parts of yourself that allowed the abuse to happen. Your need to please everyone, your fear of conflict, your addiction to being needed. Jung understood that healing requires owning your contribution without taking responsibility for their behavior. The turning point comes when you realize that your empathy isn't the problem. It's the lack of boundaries around it. Jung wrote, "Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves." The vampire irritated you because he reflected your abandoned self, the part of you you sacrificed to keep them happy. Stage 4, The rise of the phoenix. Jung believed that individuation, becoming who you truly are, requires integrating all aspects of the psyche, including the shadow. Stage 4 is where you achieve what I call shadow-integrated empathy. Compassion combined with discernment, love combined with boundaries. You emerge from stage 3 fundamentally changed, not broken, but refined, not bitter, but wiser. You have developed what Jung called differentiated consciousness, the ability to feel other people's emotions without absorbing them as your own. And this is the most terrifying thing for vampires, an empath who has completed the individuation process. You can still see their pain. You can still sense their emptiness. You can still recognize their wounded inner child. But you're no longer driven to repair it. Jung wrote, "I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become." In stage 4, you choose yourself, not selfishly, but consciously. You understand that your empathy is a gift to be protected, not a resource to be exploited. You develop what I call compassion with boundaries, the ability to love others without losing yourself. This transformation creates what Jung called an autonomous personality, someone who operates from their own center rather than from reactive patterns. Vampires can no longer engage you with drama, guilt, or manipulation because you've learned to distinguish between their emotions and yours. You become what I call empathically sovereign. You give by choice, not compulsion. You help from strength, not weakness. You love from fullness, not emptiness. And this terrifies vampires because they can no longer feed off of your energy. The vampire will try anything to pull you back into the old dynamic. False reconciliations, threats, smear campaigns, wild accusations. But nothing works because you've achieved what Jung called psychological independence. Your sense of self no longer depends on their approval or validation. Jung understood that healing isn't just about escaping abuse. It means integrating lessons into a more complete version of yourself. Post-vampire growth involves several key psychological developments. First, you develop what Jung called the transcendent function, the ability to hold opposites together in creative tension. You can be both compassionate and boundaryless, both open and protective.
Both trusting and discerning. This isn't a contradiction, it's psychological maturity. Second, you learn to recognize what Jung called the narcissistic constellation in others. You can spot the signs early. The excessive charm, the pity stories, the testing of boundaries, intermittent reinforcement. Your empathy becomes a radar system for authenticity rather than a beacon for predators. Third, you develop what I call conscious empathy. Instead of automatically absorbing everyone's emotions, you choose when to tune in to others and when to maintain your own energetic boundaries. Jung called this the art of conscious relating. The relational patterns that emerge in stage 4 are entirely different. You attract people who appreciate your depth without exploiting it, who can engage with your emotional intensity without being overwhelmed by it, who respect your boundaries because they have healthy boundaries of their own. Jung believed that individual transformation creates collective change. When empaths complete this 4-step journey, they model a different way of being for others. The healed empath creates ripples that ripple in powerful ways. You become living proof that sensitive people don't have to be victims. You show others that empathy can coexist with strength, that compassion doesn't require self-sacrifice, that healing is possible even after the worst psychological abuse. Other empaths look at your transformation and think, if they could do it, maybe I can do it too. You become what Jung called a wounded healer, someone who transforms their own pain into wisdom and uses that wisdom to help others heal.
But perhaps most importantly, your transformation changes the vampire supply chain. Every empath who completes this journey is one less source of energy for predators. Every boundary you establish makes it a little harder for vampires to find easy targets. Jung wrote, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." When empaths claim this privilege, they don't just save themselves. They contribute to the healing of the collective shadow. Jung understood that narcissistic abuse isn't random. It serves a psychological function for both parties. The vampire avoids his own shadow by projecting it onto the empath. The empath avoids his own power by remaining in victim consciousness. But here's the profound truth Jung discovered. The abusive relationship is a distorted mirror of individuation. Both people are trying to become whole, but they're doing so through the other rather than through their own inner work. The vampire seeks wholeness by consuming the life force of others. The empath seeks wholeness by healing the wounds of others. Both approaches fail because wholeness can only come from within. When the empath completes the four-step journey, they break this unconscious contract. They stop trying to heal others and focus on healing themselves. Stop giving away your power and start reclaiming your sovereignty. This is what Jung meant by individuation, becoming undivided within yourself, not perfect, but complete, not without wounds, but not defined by them, not without empathy, but not enslaved by it. Jung believed that empaths serve an evolutionary function in human consciousness. You're not just a sensitive person, you are what I call a consciousness accelerator. Your ability to feel deeply, perceive authentically, and love unconditionally propels the species toward greater emotional intelligence and spiritual awareness. But this gift comes with great responsibility. You must learn to use your empathy consciously, not just reactively. You must develop the discernment to know when your sensitivity is serving evolution and when it is enabling dysfunction. The four-step journey is not just about personal healing. It's a preparation for your greater purpose. Jung wrote, "Your vision becomes clear when you look into your heart. He who looks outward dreams. He who looks inward awakens." Awakened empaths become agents of collective transformation. You are here to model what healthy empathy looks like, to show that sensitivity is strength, not weakness, to demonstrate that love can have boundaries, that compassion can have limits, that giving can be conscious rather than compulsive. So here's what I want you to understand. If you're an empath who has experienced abuse from energy vampires, you're not broken. You're not overly sensitive. You're not fundamentally flawed. You're a highly evolved consciousness going through a very human experience, learning to protect your gifts. The four stages aren't a punishment, they're preparation. Each stage teaches you something essential about yourself, about others, about the nature of healthy relationships. Stage 1 teaches you your magnetism. Stage 2 teaches you your boundaries. Stage 3 teaches you your strength. Stage 4 teaches you your sovereignty. Jung spent his entire career studying the process of becoming whole, and he discovered that it always requires facing the shadow, both your own and that of others.
The vampire was your teacher in this process, even if neither of you understood it at the time. If you recognize yourself in these stages, know that you are exactly where you need to be. Trust the process. Trust your intuition. Trust that your empathy, properly developed, will become your greatest strength. Carl Jung discovered that empaths who survive abuse go through 4 distinct stages. Stage 1, the luminous trap, where your gifts attract predators. Stage 2, soul extraction, where they attempt to consume your essence. Stage 3, the dark night,
where everything falls apart so it can be properly rebuilt. Stage 4, the Phoenix Rebirth, where you become indestructible. The vampire taught you the most important lesson of your life, that your empathy is sacred and must be protected. They forced you to develop the very boundaries and discernment that now make you immune to manipulation. Jung's gift to every empath is this understanding. Individuation, becoming who you truly are, is not just possible after abuse. That's precisely the point. You didn't go through this journey to remain a victim. You went through it to become a conscious creator of your reality. Your journey through these 4 stages is not just about personal healing. It's a preparation for your role as a healed empath in a world desperately in need of your gifts. Protected, aware, and fully empowered. Thank you for walking this path of understanding with me. See you in the next dimension of healing. Bye.